Hi, I'm Debra Poneman, and I'm here today with John Newton from Health Beyond Belief. John feels that we can help end individual suffering and even impact global suffering through ancestral clearing. So, John, what exactly is ancestral clearing?
Ancestral clearing is a conglomeration of 5 techniques that I use. The principal one is forgiveness. So it's involving going back into our family and lineage and peacemaking for the hurts, the burden, the karma, anything that we've accumulated in our families, our lives, and in our ancestral lineages that's affecting us now. So all the unresolved trauma, the war, the holocaust, all these different things have happened in our lineages, but it was never really resolved. So we came in, and as we came in as a soul into this body, the imprints were already there in the DNA. Epigenomes, they refer to that a lot now. It's a big buzzword, but that's kind of describing these attachments to our DNA that store our trauma and can skip generations. So what we're helping to do is to resolve that so that we can start from a clean slate of possibility, to be able to resolve the past, to peacemake and clean up the burden that we carry from the actions in this life, but as we said, also from our family and our lineage. So it gives us a better shot at embracing physical, emotional well-being and life purpose, and basically having life be sweet, easy, and way less stress.
Well, you say we have to peacemake and we have to do the forgiveness. Do we really have to do that, or is there a technique that takes care of that?
There is a technique, so we liken it to a recipe. So you follow the recipe, you get the souffle, right? So it's a formula, and it involves, as we said, peacemaking or forgiveness, and it also involves connecting to source. So that could be God if you're religious and you believe in God or a higher power in that sense. Some people don't believe in anything and they still get help. So the formula works. In other words, it's 4 legs to a table. Table's stable. We use 4 of those pillars in the work, but a 3-legged table actually can be stable as well. So you can leave out source even though source is really doing the work. So for people that don't believe in anything, it's fine. Once we unravel and root out the karma, the stress, the burden that we carry, people notice almost every time, I don't want to say every time, that our bodies want to heal. And so our bodies do heal and stress gets released because we don't want to accumulate more stress. And that's what people tend to do. And look at humanity. We're trying to find a way around it, but the only way around is through. And we have to take responsibility for the things that have happened. It doesn't mean we have to relive it, but it means we have to make peace and move through and be in integrity so that we can be that vessel of light that we're designed to be.
So, this work that you do, this ancestral clearing, first of all, how did you come to this work?
I had quite an interesting childhood, and I had some experiences when I was younger that showed me I was able to affect reality, in a big way. And it was kind of a little bit spooky, to be honest with you. And I also realized that I wasn't special, that other people had this ability too. And so as I got older, I really started searching because I wanted to get to the root of why humanity suffers. Why all these wars? Why, I grew up with Vietnam on the television, and it seemed like so many people were sick, and there's this alcoholism, and it just didn't seem like we're functioning on all 8 cylinders. It seemed like the world is a little bit off. And so I really got on a really deep search for meaning. Who are we? Why are we here? And why do we suffer? And as I started studying and learning and growing, and it culminated with an awakening that I had, a dark night of the soul, if you will, where I was able to question being itself. And it was almost like I was faced with a decision: do I surrender or not? And I chose to surrender. I chose wisely. And I was able to have a cognition where I was able to merge with the infinite and to experience, I refer to it as a gap. Between thoughts, there's a gap. And in that gap is silence. It's peace. And in that state of being is where I do the work, is where I help people to unravel. And I also show them how to, awaken to that same state of being, that consciousness, and also to help unravel the burden that's fogging or clouding our lens of perception and attraction, so that we can have a life of possibility, that we can have the life that we came here to live.
Well, in a minute, I'm going to address what's happened in my life through this work in terms of experiencing more of the gap, which I didn't think I was capable of experiencing before I was introduced to this work. But I wanted to comment on all of the physical, I guess I can only call them healings. I don't think you like to use that word, but I've seen them with my own eyes. I've seen this work get rid of people's depression. I've seen it get rid of people's vertigo, female problems, all kinds of pain. I've seen you restore people's hearing, 2 or 3 people's hearing at different events that I've been to. How does this work actually affect something as physical as hearing or eyesight or arthritis?
Our bodies want to heal. That's the bottom line, is we have within us the ability to handle stress, to have an immune system that works. We weren't designed to suffer. And so just because we have suffered in the past because of all the stuff we've carried, all the unresolved grief that we were talking about, that has led to us having a life that looks like suffering. It looks like we can't have what it is that we want. We can't, live the life that we came here to live. And it's because of all that unresolved stuff. So as we resolve that, it's literally, I've seen eyesight and I mean, thousands of people with chronic pain, back pain, arthritis. And I work in hospitals, or when I worked in Betty Ford in the pain management program, we'd have people come in wheelchairs and walkers, and they would literally be pain-free. We had 90+% people leave pain-free. And these are people that are addicted to opiates and other things as well. So that's a comorbid diagnosis that makes them very hard to treat. So this work is really simple, but it's so powerful as far as the effect that it has and the things I've seen. Everything's made of energy. So our bodies are made of energy, and quantum physics and all these great, scientists are proving this, and they're proving it in the lab, which is really unusual. I didn't think that would happen in my lifetime. But we're getting to see that physical everything, including your body's made of energy. So what's contributing to the energy becoming physical and staying the way that it is? Something has happened in the past that's contributing to our bodies not healing. It's contributing to a block in our abundance or our relationships or whatever it is that's not showing up. Something is in the way. So if you address the something, and we do that by accessing that which created all of this. If that which created all that is, was, and ever will be can't handle it, we're kind of in trouble, right? So that's what we do. We access that, and we do it with word. Word is a powerful thing. We do it silently most times, unless the person's interested in studying or learning more about the work, then we'll do sometimes out loud. But we really just begin to remove whatever it is that they're carrying. And it's resolving the past. There's different versions of us that exist in my nervous system as memory, as imprint, karma, whatever you want to call it, different realms. And if you don't resolve that, it's going to keep having an effect on us. And it's not a positive effect. If something happened that was traumatic, or my great-great-grandfather was a slave or whatever, that's stored. There's a part of me that's still carrying that to some degree, and it's going to affect my well-being, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of it. So it's really simple. It's to unravel and resolve that so that we can show up. So life becomes like a blank canvas of possibility, and we can be that paintbrush that we're designed to be. Coming from the heart, learning how to listen to that inner knowing that leads, guides, and directs us in every moment. It's always there. We turn our back, it never turned its back.
Well, my experience has been that not only am I more in touch with that inner knowing, but I now could actually follow that inner knowing, because I always had a pretty good connection, but following it was another story. And also my intuition. I've always had good intuition, although since doing this work, that's even enhanced. But trusting my intuition has become so much more effortless. And I think it's because I really do feel a greater connection to source, really feel a connection to my higher self since I've been doing this work. Why does that happen?
Well, I feel like that's your natural state. We're not giving you something. I don't give anybody anything. I only ask humbly and gratefully to remove that which isn't serving you. So it's almost like with this work, we're reminded of who we really are. This is not some new way of being. This is the old way. This is the powerful, natural state that we are once you've removed the burden. So it's like cleaning your windshield. The more your windshield is clear and transparent, the more you can perceive what's actually there. But most of us have been coming from the stuff that's been on our windshield. We think it's actually out there in our world that we're perceiving. So, clean the windshield, clean the lens, clean whatever it is that's our perception, and then the world shows up differently. And I mean completely differently. because there's infinite number of possible realities that exist simultaneously. That's not metaphysics, that's physics. The one we're experiencing is the one that's a reflection of everything that we carry. All the past experiences, everything that's unresolved, everything that's in me is showing up externalized. And so as I resolve this, it's physics. The external is going to shift. So it's not like we have to fix the world. The world will show up differently to us. There's that many different realities. Is as many sentient beings as exist in creation, which is infinite. There's that many different realities. That many different universes exist simultaneously. So we're just tuning the dial over, the frequency over, to where you exist in this reality that doesn't even include that issue. The more you connect to Source, the more you let go and let God, as they say, it becomes sweet and simple and effortless. It's our natural state of being. It's not like you're doing something that goes against the grain. All this, the way we've been living before, the way we listen to our mind and the thoughts only, instead of listening to the heart, or that which is connected to the source of all that is, intelligence, other people, the past, the future. Everything's accessible when we connect to God or to that intelligence.
So is that why when people do this work, they find that their family members change? I even remember being at an event where somebody said that their husband stopped drinking, who was an alcoholic, when they started doing the work. He wasn't even doing the work.
We get a lot of reports from couples. One of the two will start doing the work and start to wake up and start to peacemake their stuff. Well, guess what? The actor in their play, their husband, he doesn't have to play the same role anymore because it's not serving. There's nothing for him to react to. The frequency's not there for him to interact in that same way. So he begins to shift. It doesn't always work that way, black and white, because it's more complicated. It's a hologram. It's not a three-dimensional reality that we're perceiving. It's much more than that. But really, as we clear up our stuff, it's very common to have the actors in our play change their roles. The person that maybe was a kind of a bully, or the landlord, or the boss that was out of integrity, can start to respect you because you're respecting yourself and you're having a healthy boundary and you're resolving your stuff so that he reflects that. And if it doesn't vibrate with who you are being, your new way of being, it'll fall off. He'll fall away like a scab that served its purpose. In other words, you won't stay in that unhealthy situation because you won't put up with it, because you're now aligned more with your truth and your heart instead of the past. Because most of us use the past to show us who we are. And that's absurd. That's like looking in the car rear view mirror, while you're driving. You don't want to do that. You want to look where you're going. More importantly, you want to look where you want to go, not just where you're going.
Well, we all want to stop looking in the rearview mirror. So can you give us an experience of this work now?
Absolutely. So I want to do that for you, and of course for everybody listening or watching, if they're watching the video of this. We'll work on some issue, maybe pick one or two. So it could be a physical issue, it could be emotional, could be some stress, maybe someone you have an issue with at work, could be a relationship frustration, maybe a general heaviness, maybe a spiritual disconnect. Just get a sense of one or two things and see where you feel it in your body. It's a big part of this work, is getting you back into your body, getting you connected to this present moment. And just notice what it feels like. Where do you feel it? You don't have to judge it, just assess. And we're going to work about a minute or so silently and just see what happens. See what you feel from this. But keep your attention on what you're feeling inside. Here we go. So just see what you notice, and the viewer, listener at home, just see what you feel in your body. Just see what that experience is now. You always want to check it in this moment, and make sure it's not what the mind tells you that you're feeling. Actually see what you're feeling. There's a difference. I know it sounds a little odd. What does that mean? The mind is constantly judging, and the mind is not in the present. In fact, one of the definitions for meditation comes from a word that means no mind. So when you're in your body and you're letting go of story and identification with the mind or judgment, you're actually meditating. It's a form of meditation. It's not the only kind of meditation. So we really want to assess. So what does that feel inside? What do you...
Well, I had a pain and it's completely gone.
Awesome.
Seriously, like 100%.
That's awesome.
Well, that's very cool.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's simple, right? I mean, it's just, and we teach this. It's not, I don't want people to think that, oh, he's got some gift. It's like, yeah, I do have a gift that we all have. The only requirement for this work is that you want help. You don't have to believe it's possible. You don't have to be any religion or anything. It's just, do I want help? And it's that simple.
So I can understand how physical pain and also this idea of having a greater connection to source and development of intuition and expansion of consciousness through the work, which I've experienced all the above. But creating world peace, I mean, how many people can you individually help with this work? Because you talk that the whole planet can be affected through this work. How could that be?
Well, we're a community and we're all connected. And I don't pretend this is the only path. This is one path, and it's a path that does support all other paths. It doesn't go against any religion. I work with priests and rabbis and doctors and therapists and everybody of any belief. It doesn't matter. So it's really quite simple. If we get enough of us, self-aware, or enough of us that have woken up, that we'll be like a beacon or a light, and it doesn't take, 100 monkeys is enough. And the whole community begins to wake up, begins to see. Because when we see with the eyes of the Creator, that which created us, it's compassion, it's love, it's ease, it's peace organically. Because we don't have to strive for peace. Peace will be a natural reflection of the community when we're in integrity, when we're in our heart. Because when I'm in my heart, when I'm here, when I'm present, I'm connected to everything anyway. And I can't imagine hurting you. I can't imagine hurting someone else because my heart won't let me. Now, the mind has other plans. The mind, through fear and through a lot of the burden that we might still carry, creates suffering, and then we try to find a way out instead of acknowledging and moving through and resolving. So maybe I'm blind ambition, or maybe I'm hurting other people, or maybe I'm out of integrity, or lying, cheating, stealing, whatever. So I'm not having integrity. And so as a container, or as a vessel of light that I was created as, how much light can I carry? If it's broken. So I need to resolve that. So it doesn't take everyone. It just takes enough. And one of the great philosophers that I knew said it's the square root of 1% of the population. I don't know what the number actually is, but hey, that sounds good to me. Let's start with that. So it's kind of like popcorn. You get a few kernels start popping, and then all of a sudden the steam is released. That steam starts to increase the heat, which causes the other kernels to start popping. And then it's like the popcorn just really goes. And so that's what I look forward to, because we're right there, and we need something radical. We need a radical awakening of consciousness through individuals, because consciousness already is awake. And if we don't get on the boat as individuals, it's probably not going to be an optimal place to be on this planet at this time. Because if you look where we're going, it's not always pretty. But just because the past equaled the past, it doesn't mean it equals the future. So we can resolve, and we can make peace, and we can do better, and then we can be an example for our family, our community, and beyond. And it is so simple and sweet, especially when we let go and let God, or let Source. Because it will lead, guide, and direct us to whatever needs to happen. And we don't have to figure it out with our heads, our brains. We can just surrender sweetly and follow our bliss, and we will be guided.
Well, I have to tell you, as you know, I've taken your practitioner training, and I've always thought that I was a person who had no healing ability. I was always in awe of people who did, because it just wasn't me. And so when I took your practitioner training, I thought, well, I probably won't be able to do this, but I'll take it anyway. And I amaze myself. You know, when I sometimes I'll even call you and say, I can't believe I healed myself. But the other day, I drove from San Francisco to San Diego nonstop, right? And then when I got to San Diego, I slept on somebody's rollaway bed thing, and which was terrible for my back. And then I had to sit at a computer for about 5 hours without moving. When I had the worst pain in my back. It was so horrible, and I thought, I have to go to a chiropractor. But it was Sunday night at like 9 o'clock, so I wasn't really going to be able to find a chiropractor. I thought, well, I'm going to see if I could heal myself using one of your techniques, the directed breath technique. Disappeared it. Disappeared it.
That's great.
That's so cool. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with everybody before we say goodbye?
Well, it's just to realize this is not some, pipe dream to end suffering. This is real. It's tangible. It's simple. It's repeatable. It's teachable. And it's something we can apply right away. It's not something you have to study for years and train. It's like meditation. Once you learn a technique that works, you apply it and you're meditating, you're transcending. So it's really that. And I want people to get that, how simple it is, but we need to do it, and it supports the other things that we are doing, the medical care, psychological care. It's not a substitute. I really call this complementary for a reason, not alternative. So, we work with doctors, and that's a big part of our pie of wellness, I call it. This is a slice, and it's a simple slice, and it does support the rest of the pie, which I love. It doesn't go against that. So if people want more information, they can go to the website healthbeyondbelief.com or johnnewton.com, and there's more information. There's a weekly call series that I do, and it's really valuable. We have a different topic every week, and people can sign up for the month. And there's a free call on the website, actually, so you don't have to do anything. If you want to go to the website, you can listen to the free call and see what the work's about. It's very simple and accessible to everybody. So thank you.
Well, I know it's just one slice of the pie, but it's a really delicious slice. And thank you. And thank you for everything that you do for individuals and to end suffering on the planet.
Thank you, Debra.